Some crimes are solved, some mysteries fade with time, but others refuse to disappear. They remain buried in police archives, whispered about in empty rooms and remembered by investigators who never found the truth. Tonight, we open 5 real cases that still terrify those who tried to solve them. Welcome to the Dark Side Files. In March of 1922, on a remote farm in Germany called Hinterkaifeck, something unspeakable happened. The farm was home to the Gruber family, Andreas, his wife Casilia, their daughter Victoria, and her 2 young children. They had just hired a new maid to help around the house. One by one, all 6 of them were murdered. Their lives ended with a farming tool called a mattock. The brutality was shocking, but the murders themselves were not the most disturbing part. What happened after was... In the days that followed, neighbors noticed strange things. Smoke was still rising from the chimney. The farm animals were being fed. Inside the house, bread had been freshly baked. Someone had stayed on the farm after the entire family was already dead. Investigators came to a terrifying conclusion. The killer may have lived in the house for days, sleeping in the beds of the victims, eating their food, and listening to the horrifying silence. Dozens of suspects were questioned, but no one was ever charged. The crime scene was contaminated, evidence disappeared, and every lead went cold. More than a century later, the Hinterkaifeck Murders remain officially unsolved, and somewhere in Germany, a killer died without ever being named. In November 1970, a hiker in Norway made a terrifying discovery. In a remote, desolate valley near Bergen, known as Isdal, the Ice Valley, he found the burnt body of a woman. She had no identification. Her fingerprints led nowhere. The labels had been meticulously cut from every single piece of her clothing. When police found her suitcase at a nearby train station, the mystery only deepened. Inside, they found wigs, sunglasses, several fake passports, and notebooks filled with strange codes. The investigation revealed that she had stayed in hotels all across Europe, using different names and speaking multiple languages. She was always alone. The official conclusion was suicide, but many investigators never believed it. Why would a woman go to such lengths to erase her identity just to burn herself in a remote valley? Why carry coded messages? Some believe she was a spy caught in a Cold War operation. Others think she was on the run from someone dangerous. But to this day, no one knows her real name. She is remembered only as the Isdal Woman. In 1957, in Philadelphia, a hunter stumbled upon something that would haunt America for decades. Inside a simple cardboard box, abandoned in a wooded area, was the body of a young boy. He was malnourished, covered in bruises, and had been left alone in the cold. No one came forward to claim him. No missing child report matched his description. Police released his photo to the public, hoping someone, anyone, would recognize him. The public searched desperately, but the boy remained nameless. He became known as the boy in the box. For years, theories flooded in. A case of horrific abuse, a trafficking victim, a dark family secret hidden from the world. It wasn't until 2022 that modern DNA technology finally gave him a name, Joseph Augustus Zarelli. But even now, we still don't know who killed him. His story gained an identity, but not justice. And some mysteries don't end just because we learn a name. In 1948, a man was found dead on a beach in Adelaide, Australia. He was well dressed in a suit and tie, with no signs of violence and no identification whatsoever. In a hidden fob pocket of his trousers, police found a tiny rolled-up piece of paper. On it were 2 words, "Tamam shud." It's a Persian phrase meaning, "it is finished." The words were torn from a rare book of poetry. When police eventually found the exact book the scrap came from, they discovered something even stranger inside. A local phone number and a cryptic code written in the back. For decades, the man was never identified. The cause of death remained a mystery. Was it a fast-acting poison that left no trace, natural causes, or something else entirely? Some believe he was a spy. Others think he was part of a secret tragic love story. In recent years, DNA has finally given him a name, but the most important question remains unanswered. Why was he there? And who wanted his story to end in silence? On June 7th, 1992, 3 women vanished from a quiet suburban home in Springfield, Missouri. Cheryl Levitt, her daughter Susie Streeter, and Susie's friend Stacy McCall. The 2 girls had just returned from a graduation party. They went to sleep in Cheryl's house, and they were never seen again. When friends arrived the next morning, everything looked eerily normal. Their purses were there, their cars were parked outside, and their beds looked like they had been slept in. But the women were gone. There was no sign of forced entry, no signs of a struggle, and no ransom note. Just an unnerving absence. It was as if they had simply evaporated into thin air. Decades later, the case remains open. One of the most baffling disappearances in American history. And investigators admit something chilling. Whoever took them knew exactly what they were doing. They left behind no clues, no witnesses, and no answers. Only a void that has never been filled. These are not just stories. They are reminders that evil doesn't always leave fingerprints, and that the truth doesn't always rise to the surface. Some cases remain open forever, locked inside the dark side files. If these stories stay with you, you already understand why we tell them. Subscribe and join us next time as we open another file, because every mystery has a dark side.